This episode of My Bloody Judy is sponsored by HorrorPress.com. Howdy, howdy, and welcome to My Bloody Judy with your final forgets, myself, Zachary Patton Garcia.
And Ian Carlos Crawford.
Okay, we just watched Yellowjackets. I just watched it. You just watched it, right? Okay, episode 4.
I assumed you had watched it like days ago.
Well, I think we have a new little system. Is like we will. So Mondays is usually our recording day anyway. So we are going to each watch Yellowjackets. We come and record, then we go watch the movie that we're going to record for, and then we come back and record. And it's just it's the evening, okay? Monday evening.
We got it down. We got it down, Pat. I think.
And we're gonna keep it. Okay, we got the schedule. We're gonna keep to the schedule. This is episode 4, Old Wounds. Yeah, and we're gonna cover. We'll jump into the past, I guess, because there was a lot that happened in the past. There was a lot that happened in this episode. It felt like they kept jumping back and forth a lot.
Zach, I was gonna say that because I was like, I feel like I was feeling like I didn't have a lot to say because so much happens, and I'm like, I feel like they're setting up a lot of things to like keep it.
It was a big setup episode, wasn't it? It felt like a really big setup episode because there wasn't a lot of like conversating. There wasn't a lot of conversations or like scenes. I mean, like everybody had one-on-one scenes, but nobody really like got deep in. Yeah, I don't know. It felt like really quick. Anytime it would go to like two people, it felt really quick. Yes. I feel like Misty got the meat of the episode. Misty and Lottie is how I took that.
I was going to say Natalie.
Possibly. Okay, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, if we're talking about the past,
both of us are like
everybody. All the characters got it right. Okay, so we're gonna jump into the past then. So like we start, and Van is working with Ty and her sleepwalking, and she's pretty much, and now instead, I kind of like this direction with her, right? Instead of being like, oh, we got to keep you tied down, she's like, no, let's untie you. You want me to untie you, baby? Okay, I'll untie you. Go out into the woods.
That would be you. I feel like you would be like, no, let's see.
I go out into the woods. I'll follow you, okay? We're going to see what you find, okay? And she's finding all these symbols in the woods and like on trees and shit. And Van is really wanting to talk to Lottie about it because Van is a Lottie believer. She's a Lottie follower, which is weird that in present day she's not. So something happened there. There was a break at some point.
I do feel like I wish Van weren't, but I get it. It's like they're all going nuts.
Well, and you need something to believe in, right? Like, there's not a whole lot of hope here, right? And so if Lottie is Jesus come to Yellowjackets High School, then I'm believing it too, I guess, right? This is really the episode where we do start to get a divide between the believers and the non-believers. Yeah. Like we get a really fine line in the sand. And so Van is really like making connections because they keep finding all of these symbols on these trees, and she also knows that Lottie has been saying different things, right? Harvey's alive. That there's like a bunch of crows that crash into the house, I guess, and like die in the front yard, and so they think that that's Lottie as well. And I forget. Know.
Do you remember? I don't remember exactly what happened right before that scene happened when the crows all died. Did Lottie do something?
See, I'm like, I just watched because I didn't watch episode 3 until today. I watched it right before episode 4, so I'm getting some of my facts mixed up, and I'm trying to remember. Like, we don't open this episode with Ty freaking out because she ate Jackie's face.
Correct.
So then the crows were last episode, or were they this episode?
Weren't they the first episode?
I don't know. Okay, I need to stick to my notes because then if I go off, I'm not going to... So somebody's been taking meat, right? And they start blaming the coach, and...
I thought it was going to be the coach, and they were going to fucking eat him for it.
No, it wasn't going to be the coach. The coach is fine. The coach is, like, super depressed right now. The coach... I'm scared for the coach. We'll get into that, but... and then Nat gets blamed for not getting any food, any game.
She didn't get blessings from Lottie, which is fucking bullshit.
But she's the only one fucking out there. Like, nobody else, like, takes it upon themselves to go hunt at all. You know?
Right, because she was right when she said that. Because she says, like, I'm the only one going out. Like,
she is the same exact size as the rest of them.
Yeah.
They need to be out there as well, right? Like, Ty, get your ass. Wake up, Ty. Wake up, Ty. Go hunt, okay? That's what Van needs to get Ty to go do.
Sleepy Ty might be a good hunter.
We've got different Ties. I don't know. I'm scared we're going to get a third Ty at some point in this. So, but she's the only one out there. And so we get this, like, divide start growing between, like, everybody's like, Lottie could get us food.
Ooh, those new girls are pissing me off so much.
I know. I'm like, we can go back to our few girls. I don't need new characters anymore. And then Natalie challenges Lottie to, and I do feel bad for Lottie because she's not really like. She's not doing too much here in the past flashbacks, right? Like she's not imposing her beliefs onto anybody, and she's not even sure herself what is happening with her. It's just something she knows she's experiencing. But Natalie's like fucking over it. Natalie's like, we're gonna go out. You don't even need a gun, Lottie. You can have a knife, right? I'll take the gun. We'll go our different directions, and whoever comes back with more food, wins, and we'll see who the Messiah is at that point.
I have never related to Natalie more than this episode.
Because she's over the shit. She's like, no more. No mas. Well, when they do go out to hunt, Lottie is just finding...
Lottie's having a mental breakdown.
She's having a mental breakdown. She's not looking for any food. She's finding symbols on trees, and she's let's go into her whole fucking mental breakdown, right? Like,
oh boy,
continuity be damned. So she is finding symbols on trees. She finds the altar. She finds the fucking plane that the Christian girl went down in. I thought it was a second plane at first. I was like, she found another plane.
Me too. I was
she
like,
found
what?
a plane. I'm about to praise Lottie myself. About to start drinking the Jesus juice. But it's just, I guess, a hallucination because she finds Christian girls. Does Christian girl have a name? Do we remember?
I couldn't remember that. She's Christian girl in my notes as well.
And I'm missing a lot of names in my notes because there's a lot of characters to keep up with, y'all. Fork Girl is how I have her in my notes, but I don't remember her name either.
Lisa, only because she's like so hot that I'm like, oh, I remember this character.
And the girl who's not Lottie, but is like a Lottie follower that looks like Lottie.
Looks like Lottie, right? Okay, thank you. I kept being like, why is that girl talking? Why is Lottie talking
looks
about
exactly the
herself
same. Okay.
Thank you.
Just like slightly longer hair. Do we have a name there?
No,
because I just write
new girl.
They as like a collective instead. So
they all said this.
So Lottie finds hallucinates this plane, finds all Christian girl stuff in the plane, and then finds a fucking hatch like this is lost or something, and goes down.
I was like, aha, we're getting lost. But then
I was thinking about that while I was thinking of this episode, and I was thinking of you while I was thinking of it too, and I was like, I wonder if they're gonna go any sort of lost direction and like start introducing like lost type of shit, like a smoke monster or a flash sideways or something, you know?
Because something cooked Jackie, and it wasn't them.
It was fire in the snow. I'm still on the, I don't know if I'm in the supernatural area yet.
You're still in the coincidence
I don't
area?
know if I am. Yeah, I'm not sure because we got a lot of, I don't know. I have to be convinced. But she hallucinates. What was it?
Oh, I just have like conflicting in my brain because if I were there, I would be Natalie. That's fucking like, are you kidding me? Lottie needs to bless me before I hunt. But also watching it, I'm like, this has to be supernatural, right?
I mean, I feel conflicted like I'm in this damn cabin right now. I feel like I'm in the fucking cabin. She goes down into this hatch and ends up in a mall. She goes into the hatch, goes into an elevator, goes into the mall, right? And this, I have seen a little bit of like Twin Peaky things, right? Like I know enough about Twin Peaks to know that this feels very Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
And then that movie we watched about the log, this felt like the log movie also.
Remember the killer
log? Yeah, he did the same
was the
thing.
name of that?
I don't know. Nobody needs to know because it was a terrible movie, awful.
I love when you hate something.
And yeah, she ends up like in this mall and I thought it was such a great touch with the theme song playing in the background.
Yes,
like echoing in the background. And it was creepy, and I was like, because I was like, Lottie can't die though. Like this can't be this is going to be something because obviously this is a hallucination. And she sees the rest of the girls like eating in the food court, and she's about to eat, and Christian girl's like leading the table. Christian girl's after her ass, okay, because she's haunting her when Travis kills himself. I don't know. That one's like, a little creepy.
I think Christian girl. So like in Lost, you know how it's like, I don't know if you got to this because you didn't finish it, right?
No.
The smoke monster does eventually like have a human form, like.
Okay, so did the Grudge. Okay, the hair turned into a human as well.
So the thing I'm gonna say is, I was wondering if Christian girl will be whatever. Like, it's just like that's how.
That's what I was thinking of, right? Is like because I remember in Lost when everybody would talk about the island like it was a thing, like a spiritual thing, and I wonder if. How do they reference this? The woods? The woods comes in and they're going to start talking about the woods like it's a person?
Zach, I'm just so happy that you fucking rolled your eyes at that because I'm like, oh, good, yes.
Some things are stupid. But I do end up liking stuff like that. That's the thing is I'll roll my eyes because I'm not like as familiar with it, but I'm sure had I kept up with it, it'd have been like my favorite thing, right? But so she like they're telling her in this hallucination, hey, you need like a jacket. Why don't you go steal a jacket? Because you obviously, I was like, we're referencing her stealing it from Jackie. That's cold. That's that's some shit. I don't need my hallucinations attacking me.
So like, because I kept thinking Lost when she was climbing down, and then I was like, are we like I just kept thinking of Lost. So I was like, is she gonna like end this hallucination but be holding like a brand new jacket or like some Chinese food? Like I really
like pull something out, like she's fucking Nancy Thompson pulling out something from her dream.
I really thought that was gonna happen.
I didn't know what I thought it was gonna happen. I thought she was going to I thought she was gonna find something. That's why I thought the plane was real. I thought she was like gonna stumble upon something, right? Or she was gonna stumble upon that moose and be like, actually guys, I found the moose.
I really did think she was gonna get
like they were gonna get back and like the moose would be out of the water and it'd be alive or something, right? She'd be riding it like a white horse. But she just like goes into hypothermia and like starts freezing to death. That's basically it. Natalie, however, on the flip side, she's like walking around. She finds a moose that is frozen, and this is the moose that was so this was episode 3, right, where she found the moose almost attacked her at the plane. Okay, so that was episode 3, and she finds, I'm guessing, the same moose or a similar moose.
I had forgotten about that, so it's good that you watched both episodes.
And the moose is like, it was sad because when she went up to it, it's like under the ice, and I was like, oh my god, is it alive? Because it sounded like it was alive. I heard a noise and I was like, oh. But I think it was just her on the ice. Okay, so it was dead, so I was okay with that. And she goes and gathers the girls, and all the girls throw their beliefs out the window at this point. And even Misty's like, I'm fucking hungry!
The two annoying new ones don't.
Yeah.
We said no, and it's like, are you fucking, like, even Misty, who was very crazy, is like...
It was the Lottie lookalike, and it was... Who was
the theater girl?
Crystal. I do know her name.
Oh.
Because I looked her name up. I typed in Google, who is Misty's friend? And she has 2 new friends in this episode. So, Misty is thriving. So she like, everybody throws their beliefs out the window, goes with Natalie, and they all try to rescue this moose. And my heart just sank when she drops the fucking moose.
And she tries to jump in after. Like, I would do the same thing. So it's like, no,
at that point, let me die. I die with the moose. I go with the moose.
Yeah, I grab that antler and I synced with the fucking
I'm rereading or I'm re-listening to Final Girl Support Group, and so I just got to the antlers scene where she gets like impaled by the antlers, and so I was just thinking of that the entire time I was seeing these antlers.
We have better context for that now that we've seen the movie.
I guess so. I watched the second one today too. Just a side note. I watched Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 today, and it's the worst movie I've ever fucking seen.
Didn't everyone tell us
the first 37, it's an hour and 20-something minutes, and the first 37 minutes are his little brother recapping the last movie. As if he were there. Except he keeps throwing in lines that's like, my brother told me this. My brother told me that this happened. My brother told me this happened.
So weird.
And then I didn't know.
We're not covering that this Christmas?
I kind of still want to because it's pretty funny. But his brother's like, okay, so the actor who plays the brother's like, we'll get into it later. Right. We've got to get back into Yellowjackets. They lose the moose. My heart really sad. I like yelled out loud for Natalie.
Zach, I put in my notes, I literally yelled no. Like, I was like, no! Like, fuck! Like, I felt hopeless for her.
I know. I said, what are we going to do now, guys? Somebody keeps stealing food and shitting in buckets in the living room. Like, things are going down. Damn.
I wanted to ask you, though, because, like, you're the stronger one here. Wouldn't they have been able to pull it out or no?
So, when it was showing the shot under the ice, right, it looked like do we call a moose? Does a moose have a snout? Do we call it the same thing? We call it a snout?
I know what you mean.
I don't know if a moose has a nose name. I don't know. I'm just going to call it the snout.
Or dog people, it's fine. We say snout.
The snout was getting like stuck on the ice as they were trying to pull it up, and I thought the snout was going to fall off at first, like get ripped off. But because we've been having that happen a lot, Jackie.
That's true.
But I think it was just like too stuck, and I think, I don't know. They all should have been holding it. Somebody let go. And I know it wasn't Misty's ass. It was somebody else. Misty was hungry, okay?
Misty and Natalie would not let go.
Travis seems like a weakling, so I feel like it was Travis. Travis is the weakest link. We eat him next.
I genuinely felt like such dread for them when that moose was sinking. I was like...
And then you like see it's like a full Titanic moment too, like you seeing the heart of the ocean like spiraling down and like disappearing into the bottom of the water. It's fucking terrible. Crystal finds a mouse in this episode.
That'll end terribly.
I was thinking, I started this episode and I was like, I wonder if Crystal's a hallucination and she's not really there because nobody's talking to her. But then she talked to somebody. She talked to Lottie lookalike. So she's not a hallucination, but she found a mouse. I'm glad that she found the mouse. I'm like worried for Crystal though, because there's a moment later with Misty and Elijah Wood. His name is Walter, right? Walter.
Yeah.
And she's like weird when he calls her a good friend. She like gets weird about it. And that could just be that this is the first time somebody's like validating that for her, like, you know, saying that to her. Or she kills Crystal and does some shit to Crystal and feels bad about it.
I mean, I do think they had to add these new girls because they needed people to eat, right? Now that we know almost all of them from season 1 survive.
I still need to go back and watch season 1 because I need to catch up on those clues. I wonder how many things they wrote into like those flashbacks in season 1 that were like super mysterious that they're like now like, how do we like tie that?
You know, poor Zach edited the episode, but he wasn't there with me and Erin. I don't know. Did you see what Erin said? Because I asked her and she was
only cut off the beginning and the end. So I hope y'all didn't say anything in the middle because I did not hear what you said.
Well, because she said that she very much thinks that like, because, you know, Lost, a show that I do love, I can genuinely say they clearly did not know where they were going.
Yeah.
Like even though it's one of my favorites, it's very obvious that like season 3 or 4, they're like, shit. But she was like, no, I think with this, I think they do know everything, like it's plotted out. Mm-hmm. Do you feel that way?
I feel like, especially with season 2, it's plotted out. I think season 1 could have still been like, there's some loose ends and they have to figure out how to tie the rest of the series in now because they didn't know if this show was going to go.
Yeah.
But now they know, and I'm sure it's plotted at this point. I'm sure it's like very, very much plotted. So Van is still like trying to get Ty to believe that something mysterious is happening with her, right? And I think Ty does believe it. I think Ty believes it, but she's too scared to admit it, that something is like really off.
It almost feels like, and honestly, I could see you or I doing this, where it's like, she believes it, but she fucking hates Lottie, so she doesn't want to validate Lottie because like she hates her. That
seems to be all of them. All the non-Lottie believers are like very hyper-focused on like, no, Lottie is not the Messiah. We'll believe anything else. And Van is like, well, like
you or I would die. Well,
Van's been plotting all of these like tree symbols, and they in a map. It's the I couldn't see what it was. It was the bigger symbol. It was the whole thing, right?
Yeah,
it was the same symbol, just big, right? Well, Ty did make a good point. It's like with all those dots, you can make anything.
I mean, like, no, she's not wrong.
She's not wrong. And then I was trying to look at it. I was trying to see how it could be indisputable, and Van was like, see, one more point and it makes the whole thing. I'm like, yeah, but I could make a sailboat out of that. I could make something else too,
right? Like
I could draw a Christian girl on there. You just connect a couple dots a little extra, you know. But yeah, so they go out to the last point and they find fucking Harvey. They find Harvey in the fucking woods, which was because I couldn't see who they were running after at first. I thought they were running after the guy with no eyes. I was like, what the fuck are they running after? Like, we can't catch him.
I was like, don't catch him.
I was like, Van sees him now too. And it was fucking Harvey. Harvey looks older now, doesn't he? I think maybe that's why they kept him out so long, is because age.
I was thinking that too, because I know like all of them aren't actually, like Travis is like 30, that actor. He's not a teenager at all.
Oh,
yeah.
My gosh. So is the adult Travis.
Yeah, basically.
Far off.
Like a lot of them are like older 20s, beginning 30s. And I was wondering, I meant to look this up, but I didn't. So now this is useless. But I was wondering if he actually was like 19 or 20. And like, you know, you do look older. And maybe that was why. But I was like, I couldn't fully remember because he always seems smaller, right? And he looked bigger. I don't know.
He was shorter. I again, I need to go back and watch, but I didn't believe him being Travis's height.
Yeah.
And now he's like the same height as Travis. That happens at the end of the flashbacks though, so I probably jumped ahead a little bit. So we have a couple things before, right? Is they eventually bring Natalie back. She's like super fucking depressed, right? I have an issue with this whole bathtub scene. One, there's no way that they're keeping her ass warm in that trough that they have in that other room, right? No. They have to heat up the water, take it in there, dump it into the trough one by one. And by the time they get back in there with another pot, that water's cold. It is not heating up.
It's lukewarm at best.
So, 2, obviously there's no plumbing hooked up here, so this trough can move. Why don't they move the trough in front of the fireplace in the living room? Because clearly nobody's caring about seeing anybody's boobs or nothing because everybody walks in there anyway. I just had a real big problem with that part. But so they're planning a whole arc here. Okay, they're not worried about the bathtub logistics. But as somebody who takes hot baths, I know my hot baths.
Yeah. Also, isn't it bad for hypothermia to immediately expose? Isn't that like a bad?
I don't know the rules to that, but that doesn't seem like the best thing, right? Because I feel, I guess they don't have any like of those silver blankets, like tinfoil blankets that they use or something like that. I don't know.
We're kind of lacking a lot.
That's
of
something
things.
we need to look up before we disappear into the woods, I think. But then they find Lottie, and she's like very near death. She's real frozen, and so Natalie's like, "Here, take the bathtub." I don't fucking think so. We can both sit in this bathtub, okay?
I thought that too. I was like, shouldn't they both just sit in there? Natalie's also had a rough time.
Exactly. Like maybe they should like huddle. Realistically, if they're cold, all of them need to be huddling them. And like,
God, you would kill me before you huddled with me.
You have to. If it's survival, you have to do it. But then
Zach, we're hugging. You're like, never mind.
I guess Natalie and like Lottie have this moment of like reconciliation at this point. I did
like this moment,
which was really interesting to see and knowing and like having seen them in present time as well.
It made sense, right?
There's like this very specific dynamic between the two that's I don't know, because like Natalie, I guess she was kind of a leader. She was the hunter-gatherer, you know?
Yeah. Did you like it? Because I did like that.
I did like it, yeah.
I like the feeling of like, Natalie still kind of fucking hates her, but it's like she respects her and they're like cool, right?
Well,
like,
she's kind of got to like start I don't think she will, but she kind of has to start realizing that, I mean, even if it's just delusions that Lottie is having, she can't help it, right? And she's not forcing that onto anybody. She's not telling people to believe her.
It's the other girls.
She is getting people to like follow her into the woods and like bury a bear heart or something like that, you know? She does do weird shit like that. She has an altar. But, you know, she's struggling too. Coach has another... Was this a flashback? Were these flashbacks or were these... Because we know that he's like...
I had the same question for you.
We know that he's having dreams of a life, you know? We know that he's picturing alternate realities. And he's reading a book, because I had to... They really focused in on this book, so I wanted to look up what the book was. The book was The Magus... And, like, it has themes of, like, realities, depression, longing to fix mistakes, and things like that. And so I'm thinking that these are, like, core memories that he is adding on to, right? And, like, creating other memories out of those core memories as well. Which is really sad. I almost don't want to see his partner ever again, because I know where this is going. And I don't...
Right, yeah, it's not going anywhere good.
And I like them. Like, give them a spinoff where they're just happy the whole time, you know? I'd rather that.
He's like, remember when I was on that crash site and I survived and my leg grew back?
Well, his leg just grows back. You know, if anybody can do it, Lottie can do it. Every time we see him, he looks like he's dying from episode to episode, doesn't he? So I'm worried that he's either going to, I don't think they're going to kill him. I think he's either going to, like, somebody's going to go, like, push him and he's just going to be dead, like up against the wall or something, or he's going to kill himself.
I think he's going to kill himself. That's what I think, yeah.
Son of a bitch. We can't get nothing. We get a cute coach, and we can't even have that, you know?
I mean, what's his life, though? He's lost his leg. He's dying in the woods. I might...
Such bullshit. I love that he, like, fully regrets it going with these little shitheads, too.
I would,
like,
too!
All of his alternate realities are like, I fucking hate them, and I shouldn't have come. They should have died without me.
I do like that they're kind of using the, like, I keep calling it WandaVision. I know it's not just one, but like the like TV distortion.
Yeah.
The like.
Well, that's different than anybody else's flashback too, right? Or flash forward, because
Ty had it today.
Did she?
Ty had it in this episode, but it was when she was like seeing herself doing shit. So it was.
So that's
like,
distinctive. That is like some sort of like hallucinating, imaginating something.
Yeah.
You know. It just makes me sad because I know where this is going, and I hope we at least get him for like the rest of the season. But
yeah,
I don't blame him. You know, Misty cut his leg off. And she's not even obsessed with him anymore. You know, it would have been worth it had she been obsessed with him the entire time. But she got over him real quick.
She really did, and they kind of like don't pay attention to him. It's
They don't have any conversations anymore. It's like stuck out here. These girls are turning to cannibalism. Food's going missing, and they're blaming him, which doesn't put him in a very good position anyway. So
oh my god, when he said, "And what would you do if I did eat it?" I was like, "Don't say that! Don't say that!"
I said, "Don't say it. Lottie's coming up to you." And then they show Lottie, and I'm like, "Oh, that's not Lottie. Whoever this bitch is, whoever this girl is, right? Don't say that to her."
I was like, "You're gonna tempt them." Then they're gonna be like, "Well, we know you. You look." So tasty.
She's not. We haven't. So she's gonna die. Is she? She's not the one in the first episode that they hunt, is she?
I mean, maybe, right? We don't know who it is.
I feel like we saw her face in the first episode, though. We need y'all. Somebody has seen it in the comments. Just like leave it down in the comments for us, okay?
We should go back.
We've got a lot of comments or a lot of content to cover. Okay, we're trying to figure it out. And then again, they find Harvey. They bring it back. Van is very much like Lottie saw that Harvey was alive, and you found Harvey. Praise Jesus. You know, spiritual.
Yeah. The thing that I really love is that like Ty, Natalie, and Shauna are like the most resistant to Lottie, right? Mm-hmm. And it goes back to what we were saying before. Aaron and I talked about this. You and I talked about this 2 weeks ago. Like Ty and Shauna present as the least crazy, but they actually are fucking like sociopaths, right? Like Shauna is still committing murder and not giving a shit.
I don't know if I'd call Ty a sociopath. Maybe Shauna.
All right, Shauna.
I don't know about Ty.
Shauna
Ty's really struggling. Ty's got multiple Ty is United States of Terror at this point. United States of
struggling.
She is struggling. Okay. It's gonna have Buck's gonna come out. My name is Buck, and I will fuck you sideways. You saw that show, right?
What?
The United States of Terror? Did you watch that? Yeah. She's gonna have a couple of those. I'm worried she's gonna get a third one. She's gonna have a third personality.
In United States of Terror? Didn't they introduce a new personality like later on?
Oh, like every season, there's a couple of them, I think. And then there was one that tried to and then there was a serial killer personality that tried to kill all the other personalities, and that was really dramatic. And
was that in the last season? I didn't see that.
It was pretty wild. She even like jumped over a bridge, and in her mind, like she was like waterboarding the serial killer. It was fucking wild. Okay, it lasted 3 seasons. They didn't get past that. I felt very unfinished with that. So they have Harvey back, but now this is like terrible for Natalie, right? Because where'd the shorts come from, Natalie? That's fresh blood.
And she looked like a liar, right? He looked at her and she looked
like you're a liar. You fucking lied, okay? Where was my brother? Where'd you get this shit? Where'd the blood come from?
And my first thought was, how's she gonna play this off? And then the answer is not well.
And we're gonna have to see that in the next episode, but it isn't gonna go well. They're gonna eat her. If we didn't know she was alive, I'd think she was. Because I keep thinking, who's next? What's good?
No.
It's definitely Coach. It is definitely Coach.
I feel like Coach and Harvey are the top of my Coach, Harvey, New Girls. They're the top of the list of like eating next, because I don't think Harvey survives, right? Don't we? Do we know that? We don't know that, do we?
We haven't heard anything of Harvey. They're not saying it. So he could survive. He could not. Something's going to happen with this damn baby too. They had a baby showers last episode. See, again, can't really keep it straight. We pick up on present day, and Ty, she doesn't have a whole lot to do here, but her stuff is pretty big. So she, we see her coming in and out of what is this? What is this? Psychosis? How do we describe this? You're the writer.
It feels like it's like I guess she has multiple personalities. I feel like that's what it has to be. But it's like she's having like a break where she's watching her other personality, because what the fuck was that Yellowjackets file? Did we see that?
And we don't see her gather anything, or we don't see any of that. Right? We see her going in and out of these personalities, right? Which confuses me, because at other times we see like nurses and people like waking her up. So she's not asleep though, because she's up and doing things. Yeah. So maybe there's like a period like of a couple minutes between shifts of personalities where she is like in a sleep mode. But so we see her like doing things and gathering things, and then we see Ty waking up in her car on like the side of the road, and she's just like, "It's okay, we're going where we're gonna go."
She rolls with it.
She has a Yellowjackets file and some other things, and she just goes like hitchhiking, right? She doesn't try. I was like, "Are we going back home? We should probably do that." But she's like, "Nope, I've got a plan."
Okay, so you just watched both last 2 episodes. That's not a thing we saw happen in the previous episode, right? We didn't like see her get in a file to go drive somewhere.
No,
right?
I didn't see that. So she's got a file from. I guess, she's a politician. She's got to have files in her house, right? I don't have files in my damn house. Like, but people do that. People have files. So she must have a file on the Yellowjackets at her altar, maybe under, like, the dog's head, in the basement. Have we gotten rid of the dog's head? I need to know about that. And who's feeding the dog at home? Because the kid's not allowed to have the dog. And who's taking care of the kid also? A lot of questions here. Ty just up and
right,
left.
because the wife's in the hospital still.
Ty just up and left. And she looks like she is having a fucking mental break as she's like walking along the side of the highway. She gets picked up by a trucker. I thought some shit was going to happen here.
Zach, I fucking forgot that she's a senator when he's like, even senators have bad days. I'm
yes.
like, oh, Jesus Christ.
I'm like, this is a little more than a bad day. This looks like she was on a bender and is coming off of it right now, doesn't even know where she is. And I don't think she did for a long time. And then I was worried about it. And he's like, I voted for you. And I'm like, no, he didn't. He lied. He lied. He voted for Trump. He didn't vote for you.
I really got nervous in that scene. And when she picks up the pen, I was like, is something bad going to happen? Like, I thought she was... When she picked up the pen and we got the like view of it from the upside down, I was like, is she gonna have a break and murder this man? I was glad she didn't.
I did like their little scene together, knowing that he didn't do anything to her or try to like hurt her. I liked their little interaction because he kind of made her feel comfortable for a moment, right? Like she was kind of on edge and she was like, oh, and I've been recognized and like I don't know what he's gonna say. And he could very well like go to papers after this. That could be a plot point that ends up popping up, but he makes her feel okay about it and she feels comfortable and she even's like, can I buy this pen from you? Which I feel like she's going to give it to Van. But, like, Simone is still in the hospital, okay? We cannot fall in love with Van right now.
Right, like, we got to, like...
we cannot do that. Priorities. We still have priorities, okay? We have to be a good person. Oh, she's got a new family now. Fuck that kid and fuck Simone.
Done with them.
I'm moving to a small town Hallmark style, okay? Fall in love with the owner of a video store and decide to leave the big city behind. That's where this is going. This is where this is going. We've got a couple Hallmark movies in this episode. But she does, and then she ends up at, what is the place called, While You Were Streaming?
Yeah.
Video store that Van has. And so Van is not involved with the cult, from what we know. But Van gives her, when she recognizes Ty, she gives her like 2 different looks, right? Like one look that's kind of happy to see her, as she says Ty, and then the next look is like dread. So what do you think she's like? What do you think that is?
I mean,
how
did
you interpret the face?
I think they were leaving it open to be like, ooh, this is a cliffhanger. But I almost think it's like, I'm trying to think of like I can't think of a metaphor for this, but I guess it's like if you run into someone that you have had happy times with, but like you fucking hate now. I guess it's like that, right? 'Cause it's like, oh, I remember this nice moment. Oh, now I'm remembering they were terrible. Or like, I watched them eat someone or whatever.
Just like, watch them eat a face. I would never let her live
stuff.
that down. I'd be like, you ate her face. Nobody was even going for her face, okay? You were the only one up there. Nobody even challenged you. That's all fat up there, okay? That's baby fat in the cheeks. Like, there's no meat there.
Also, a face wouldn't like. I feel like
there's no meat. Like, what was she eating? It's like scraping her teeth on the skull. Oh, Ty, poor Ty. She's really going through it this season. But so yeah, that is a really good cliffhanger though, because I'm really excited to see how they sort of connect. But because Van in the flashbacks was so integral to like helping Ty with her sleepwalking and with this dual personality. And that's clearly why she's going to Van again, right? Because she can't really go to Simone. She can't really, like, nobody really understands, right? And so Van was the only one who really experienced that. And so it's going to be interesting to see where Van's going to be leading her through the woods again. Be like, fall asleep, find some simples. Find some simple trees. Here, scratch let's buy you some lottery tickets, Ty. Scratch them off.
Find a dog head.
Find something. I don't know, man. Shauna, the last episode, can we talk about Melanie's acting for a bit? Because it just changes from episode to episode in the best ways. And I think I've like kind of narrowed it down. She has really good moments where she is able to turn the drama on in a real serious way, right? But for the most part, she is playing this like she's in a sitcom. And all of these like really serious moments, she just kind of like has this sitcom mom style about her where she's like, oh, zinger.
It's because she's a sociopath. And
I'm like, oh my God. Like, this is crazy. Like the whole moment in the last episode where the van was getting jacked and she pulls the gun and stuff, that was so like, that was the episode of a drama, but she played it so much like a sitcom that she was like, he's like, he had a gun. I have the gun, Jeff.
Yeah, just like, you know.
She tucks it in her pocket, and then she, goes back and when
John
she fucking goes back and John Wicks them, and then when we get to this episode, she is telling Jeff because Jeff's like, "How the fuck did the van get back?" And she's like, "Well, honey, I don't know. The tow truck must have like it's very like I Love Lucy. It's like, oh, Ricky Ricardo." I don't know.
I feel like you can feel the apathy in her. Like, she just doesn't give a shit, right? Mm. She's like, the van's back. Do we have to talk about it? Like,
she kind of just like says things that she knows everybody can read as bullshit, but she doesn't really care that they can read as bullshit, and she knows they're going to read it as bullshit, but they're not going to question her either, right? Now, what was her next scene in this? Was it when she's like in the parking lot, right? Yeah. So she's in the parking lot and she thanks Michelle, her daughter's friend's mom, for like having Callie stay at the house so long, and the mom's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Callie hadn't been in my house. And then she goes back home and goes through her room and finds a little picture in her desk. I was like, oh my gosh, she's gonna eat Callie. She's gonna eat her. She's gonna do something. Callie's in danger. Callie's in danger. Because then she picks her up and she's very much like mafia style, picking her up in this fucking minivan. Why can't they get another car? They have a nice house. They have enough money to go get another car.
Right, they do have
this is an old ass minivan. I'm pretty sure I had this minivan back in the 2000s. We had a white minivan that looked a lot like this, and it couldn't go up hills very well. So when it would go up hills, my mom would have to stop the van and like turn it back on and start going. But she picks up Callie, and I was like real scared for her because she drives her out to the middle of nowhere, and like, come out here, sit on the hood.
I knew she was gonna tell her that she did it, but I was like, is she gonna threaten her while she's telling her?
Because like, what I was thinking, I was like, she's going to say the same thing as last episode. Do you know how difficult it is to pull skin off of a human? It's like, you got to roll the corner.
I want to kill you.
I want to kill you, Callie. Do you know what happened to my last baby, Callie? I don't think I should tell you, but just imagine.
We barbecued it.
She just does something like that.
And like, her delivery here is really good too, right? Like, I love when she's telling her daughter, yeah, we did that, but he was blackmailing. Oh, wait, no, it was your father.
That was my favorite fucking part, is when she like backtracks and she's like, oh, no, I'm being honest. No, he wasn't blackmailing, honey. We actually just killed him on accident, So sitcom. Like, that's right out of Fuller House.
Yeah.
Let me tell you.
Her delivery there is so good.
And I love that she's playing it this way, because then when we do have the moments of drama where she does like telling the guy that she really wants to kill him, I'm like, right. How does like that? It feels really sinister, right? Because it's such a contrast from her.
She meant it.
Yeah. And then I think Callie's reaction is pretty fun too, where Callie seems like the kid who, I was this kind of kid, I always thought I was grown and wanted to be around the adults. I thought I was always around the adults because I thought I was part of grown conversations and stuff like that. Callie seems like she was that kid. And so all Callie wanted to do was be involved and in the know on this murder plot. She's not mad at her mom anymore. She's like, you want me to help you cut some greens, Mom? You want to help? Should we barbecue something? A person, perhaps?
You want to eat them together?
You want to eat Dad? I know he's got some life insurance. And then Jeff is like, we only have one opportunity to raise our kid right, which is crazy, right? So do you think he knows about the baby?
I was wondering that, because that's like very pointed, right? Mm-hmm. Or maybe it's not and he just doesn't know, but they added that because it's like to remind us.
Like, we killed our first baby. Or you ate our first baby.
You ate it.
So do you remember that? And she's like, I didn't eat my first baby, Callie. You know what? Yes, I did. I did. That's exactly how she would deliver it, too. Oh, genius. Give her another Emmy.
God. Get Melanie Lindsay on our podcast and talk about a bunch of faggots. She would love it. Did you see her tweet?
No.
Someone did like a Barbie meme with her, and it was like, this Barbie like furthers the gay agenda, and she quote tweeted it was like, "This brings me a lot of joy," and I just love that.
I
she
hear
like
her saying
loves
it too.
that.
I hear it in
Yeah.
her voice. So we have this like just like family plot. It feels like the, a family sitcom episode that kind of has its problem introduced at the beginning and resolution at the end. It's very much like a 30-minute sitcom. Commercials in between.
Murder
On
of
Nick
a
at Night.
boyfriend.
Like they go up, she pulls Callie aside. She says, "You know what'll make it better? A hug." Okay, Mom. They give each other a hug, and then Jeff's like, "You girls."
Just like
Crazy.
Fuller House when fucking Becky ate
Her baby. Yeah.
throw in person's name. I don't know.
Uncle Jesse. She ate Uncle
Yes,
Jesse.
yes.
She probably did. She probably did eat Uncle Jesse, but in a different way. I love Misty's shit in this episode. Missy is thriving this season.
I'm excited for her to get to the cult grounds.
Oh yeah. And I love that they're taking their time getting us there because the buddy trip is they know it's good shit.
Yes.
Especially with her.
If they weren't interesting, it would feel like, get there. But because they are fucking fun to watch, so it's like, yeah, sure, take your time.
And she's just like, because we had like a buddy trip thing last time with Natalie and Misty.
Yeah.
And I think they saw that, how well that worked, and like how well Misty works in that sort of thing, and they did that again here, and I think it's going flawlessly. Misty is really thriving this season. She's got 2 new friends. She's got Crystal, who she's probably going to eat, and she's got Walter, who she might also eat, or like drug, or like kill somehow. I don't know. Misty's dangerous, right?
Who could know?
Walter seems like he's into her, and I love that for her. I was wondering if also Walter might be a figment of her imagination, but he was interacting with people too, so I don't think so. And they go on like an adventure together.
I do have a question for you.
Okay.
I wasn't sure what set her off when she was like, "Oh, you must be a Yellowjackets obsessed person."
So I think he either said it, because I think I must have missed it, is that he either said something that was like, I sought you out for XYZ or something like that, or she was going through his papers and saw herself or something like that. It was in that moment that something happened. Okay. Because then she's like, "Oh, you're just a Yellowjackets fan, I'm flattered to be your favorite Yellowjacket, but like your favorite Power Ranger, It's just like I'm happy to be it, but you're a crazy fan. Okay, I'm too famous for this." But he is weird because he was like, "That's not my mother at the nursing home. My mother's not at the nursing home. I'm not,
so I want it to be that is what it is. He just likes her. I
don't believe it.
Right. Like I feel like there might be something else. I hope there's not, because I want.
I feel like with this show, there's always something else. There's always like another layer down there, but it doesn't necessarily have to be sinister, right? It could be.
True.
But his name is also Put the Sick in Forensics. That's creepy. But like, I love the scene where they check into the hotel and she's like 2 separate rooms. And then you see them doing the exact same thing, like checking their rooms to make sure they weren't bugged. Like, she's in a full romantic comedy in this episode, okay? And I love it. I love this for her. They both
I really loved that they were doing like exactly the same shit, and it was just like a split screen.
And they're gonna, I don't know. It's just like, I want to see, because we saw Coach. She had a romantic interest in Coach, but did she have a romantic interest in anybody else? We haven't really heard about that,
No, I actually thought the new girl might be like, they have become girlfriends or something. Maybe they do, and then she eats her. I don't know. Well,
that's fucking terrible. Bury your gays. They're just like, we're gonna bury all the gays. Yes.
Listen, they're all like crash survivors. Some gays are gonna die.
I know. We already saw how hungry Misty gets and how aggressive she gets. She's like, "I'm fucking hungry." They do make it to like this. I don't know exactly where they're at. They're all going in like this area, right? And so is like Ty in the same area?
I think so.
Because all of the surroundings kind of look the same, right? They look it looks like Pennsylvania small town or something like
rural,
that. Yeah. And they go to like the farmer's market and they're like, "Hey, where's the bees?" I'm like, "Over there."
Also, why didn't they just go to the stand?
I don't know.
Wasn't that why they were going to that farmer's market, to like see their honey stand?
I guess maybe it was closed, or maybe it wasn't like open or something. I don't know. I feel like I missed something there. But it was, the Misty stuff is really good. And I love that in this show, that's pretty sick. We get just different things. Again, like Shauna had a sitcom episode this episode, and Misty has a romantic comedy, and Ty, fully as deranged as it is experiencing a Hallmark movie where she's like leaving the city and going to the small town to meet up with an old love, you know? Like, all of this is tracking. And then we get Lottie, and Lottie is where we're getting our real drama. Or we'll go into Natalie first before Lottie, right? Because Natalie gets to go on a vacay today.
I fucking love Natalie's. Because also that would be me. I would be inserting myself to try to help. I would be getting mad and then yelling. And then it's like, well, you're not really helping. And that would absolutely be me.
And the girl told her that like 3 times. Like, you're not helping.
Yeah,
and Natalie's like, you're not helping. And I was like, you're not helping. And Natalie goes,
but then she helped. In the end, she did help, right?
Fucking fish in her mouth. Fucking fish in her mouth, okay? Natalie goes on with Fort Girl. Natalie goes like out on this little excursion. They're supposed to go to the market.
I know her name, Lisa.
But instead of just going to the market, they go to Lisa's mother's house. And I guess she's going to just visit her mother and get her goldfish. She wants her goldfish. She wants to take her goldfish. So, but we get a couple revelations here, right? Like, and Natalie's asking all the good questions. She's us in this episode.
Yes.
She's like, okay, so you're not she cuts you off from your family. She's like, not necessarily. She doesn't really cut it off, but like we're not supposed to be. Our family's an anchor, and we don't need that, right?
Right.
I wonder if that's because if they go missing, nobody's questioning it.
I read someone has a theory online, but I don't know that actress is. I don't even know that actress is old enough that someone thinks that Lisa could be Shauna's baby. But I don't even know that she would be old enough.
25. The baby would be 25. I could see her as 25.
Oh, I thought they crashed in 1990. Is it 1995?
Well, because Misty talks about it being the 25th anniversary. It was 25 years since then. Because Elijah Wood says 30 years, and she corrects him. It says 25.
Right, she does. You're right. So I guess she could be. Yeah, then she could be. Because I was thinking it was like over 30 years, but
that's interesting, huh? I'll have to you'll have to send me some stuff on that theory then.
Because I was looking it up because I was like,
about that one.
I saw her name in the credits and I was like, oh shit, she played the first trans superhero on Supergirl.
Is she trans?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Because I recognized her name and then I was like, where do I know that name from? And I was like, oh cool, like because I didn't watch that show, but of course I know.
I love that she's just kind of like forgiven. She's had to forgive Natalie for like literally stabbing her and fucking her shit up.
And I like her and Natalie's dynamic. I do like it.
I do too, and I like that she is the character who has very clearly been established as somebody who lets other people walk all over her and is now standing up
Natalie
for herself.
doesn't like that.
Yes, but she can easily tell Natalie, like, stop, you're not helping. You're just not helping, right? And we get the reveal that she also had been on meds at one point for depression, maybe other things, we don't know, but that kind of leads me to think that Lottie is sort of collecting other people with mental illnesses, and those are people in her cult also have mental illnesses. Because I guess people with mental illnesses, like, I don't know how much more susceptible they would be to influence like this, right? Like, if Lottie can convince Lisa that she cured her depression, then why wouldn't Lisa, follow her,
That is true. I hadn't even thought about that. I do feel like, right, because we're getting two sides of Lottie here, and I can't figure out where I land on, like, adult present-day Lottie, because it is a fucking cult, right? It is. And then Lisa helps confirm that it's a fucking cult. I love when Natalie's like, oh, so everyone just really likes the color purple?
It's wild. Like, I love that Natalie is the one asking all the questions and like really calling things out. It's like, that's weird, Lottie. That's weird. And Lottie's like, go into fucking town. Take the fucking keys. Please go into town.
I thought she was lying to Lottie when she did that. I was like, oh, she's gonna escape. But then
Lottie says, if you want to escape, just go. Okay, just leave the car at the end of the driveway, please. Okay, I'm tired of your shit. I'm having hallucinations right now. It's really rough. I'm going
through it. I need you to just go.
She goes to a psychiatrist and she wants to up her meds, which is like against what she's like teaching in this cult, right? It's like self-reliance in this cult.
Yes. That's why I'm getting
always
like
been on meds then the entire
That's
time?
why I'm getting conflicting. I also felt like that psychiatrist was suspect because the psychiatrist was suddenly like, maybe they're telling you something. Maybe you should like. I don't think a psychiatrist would say that about someone.
Psychiatrist is Christian girl. But Lisa's not on meds anymore. Like, it was important for Lisa to get off meds in this cult, but Lottie's still on meds, and Lottie's wanting to up her meds too.
Well, and don't forget, wasn't it like the second or third episode when we saw that Lottie like yelled at Lisa for It was like, oh, I want a shot of butterscotch in here or something. Remember, like
it was like it was wrong. It was like this is. I don't know.
It was like an ingredient that
like,
she smelled.
Fucking,
yeah,
she's like, I don't need high libido. I need energy or focus. Whatever.
Yeah.
Huh. So that's interesting. She wanting to up her because she is having pretty deep hallucinations right now, so I think that is what plagued her. Probably since before. This is the reveal that we need. Is like have those sort of visions plagued her since before they got trapped in the woods.
We did get that. Remember in season 1, she had one episode towards the end, and it was like her parents crashed the car, and she tells them she's going to crash the car. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So she's already had this stuff. See, that's just furthering my like. I don't know if it's a thing. If it's a
yeah.
What do you make of that? What do you make of that? What do you make of all of these visions?
Well, that's why I mean, like, I feel like there are like, not that I think she is like Ty and has multiple personalities, but it feels like there are two different versions of her because it's like we saw her be shitty to Lisa. We saw that this is a fucking cult. Like even if like she's nice to them, it's still a fucking cult, right? Like that's what it is. But then we see her worried about her visions.
What is the show building towards, right? Because the hook in the first season was the cannibalism, right? Everybody's like, oh shit, I want to see these girls trapped in the woods eating each other. That was very much my premise. That was all that got me. I was like, okay, I'll do it.
We thought Lottie would be the villain, but then she was not. But now
this season she could be. This season we are leading to something, but I'm very unclear what we're leading to. Yeah. It could be a theme, which is manipulation, creation of a cult, how other people like react in certain environments and what sort of stances and spirituality they take on because of certain stressors and situations, right? But like, are we leading to an actual like spiritual like thing? And I don't know. I don't know if we are.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, and like you and I are enjoying it, so it's a credit to the show. But like, it does feel like
even if it just turns out to be an exploration of like psychosis, I'm fully on board. Okay.
Sure. Yeah. I don't know where it's leading, but I am enjoying the ride. Mm-hmm. How many episodes are left? Is it only 10 episodes? Or
gosh, I hope it's like 13. Because I do like this week to week. I like this being week to week.
I do too. Yeah.
What else do we have?
Look it up real quick.
Lottie's been cutting herself throughout this episode too. So in the flashback and in the present day, she cuts herself both times, and asks for what does she ask? She asks
if this will be enough.
If this will be enough, can this please just be enough, or something like that, right? And in that way, it is also like you're able to convince yourself that
9 episodes.
That's something. It's like one short. But you can convince yourself that something has worked, right? Like I'm very much a person, like we differ on this. I'm very much a person that is like put it out in the universe and you'll get it back. That is like a real thing. And I understand that it's the power of belief, right? You believe something enough and it can come true.
I've been calling Chris Evans my husband for years and that hasn't happened yet.
Okay, well, get out to Hollywood. Get out there. Okay.
There's a this essayist I used to love, Augustin Burroughs. Did you ever see that movie Running with Scissors? It was based on his memoir. Mm-mm. The movie's cute. It totally changes the book, but in a stupid way since it's a memoir. But he wrote a book called Magical Thinking, and it was how like his mother was like very much like, you made this happen. Like she would say crazy things like that. Yeah. And like he had to learn that's called magical thinking. That like, because he said it, if a thing happened, he didn't mean he made it happen, but his mom was very much like, look what you did. You made it happen.
Well, I think my phrasing of it is usually like that, where it's like, I believed it enough, it happened, right? But I understand that it just, when I'm telling myself that, put it in the universe, make sure you put it in the universe, do that.
Like getting yourself
you're training your brain to focus on that thing more. And so when you're focused on that thing more, you're working on it more and you're flourishing that thing more, right? And that could very much be what's happening here, is that she does this enough, cuts her hand enough, says, can this just be enough? And whatever she's wanting is what she's focusing on. And so that's why it turns out, why it becomes so,
I was a little surprised that we didn't see, clearly it looked like one of those altars.
Oh, we didn't see it though, did we?
But we didn't see it. Which I thought was weird. I was like,
The bee hallucination was also pretty crazy. I wasn't sure if that was like supposed to be blood. I was like, oh, is that the color of honey? I don't know if that's the color of honey.
I was like, I'm not sure.
I said, bees don't make jam, do they? That's not a thing bees do.
I was like, is that the bees squished together? They turn like a dark red.
And poor Norma, old lady Norma's like, Lottie, are you coming to dinner? I need a head count, okay? Sometimes your meds make you don't eat on your meds. Are you on your meds today? Let me know, okay? She's the lunch lady. She's not actually in the cult. She's just hired. Yeah, but I think that's everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
See,
What are your predictions?
It's like I feel like this was longer than the other ones.
Yeah. Done. What are your predictions though? Because I think at this point I'm like really unclear where we're going, and I'm struggling to. I can come up with predictions like per character and like on little things, I think, but like a grander story is like I kind of don't know where we're going with this grander story, and I think I enjoy that too. That they're going to tell me what the story is rather than me. It's a nice breather, because I feel like with every piece of content lately in like the last couple of years, I feel like I've just been like guessing and guessing and guessing. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. This is going to happen. With this show, I don't find myself doing that. Yeah,
I fully feel the same way. It's like I don't know where it's going, but I'm enjoying the ride, so it's like fine. I'm not.
Mephisto could show up. They're just going to tell me if he does or not. You know,
no, we don't say that name.
Mephisto. I want Mephisto to show up. I'm ready for Mephisto. It has to happen.
Oh my god. I spent so much time talking about that on Slayer Fest with fucking WandaVision, God.
Oh, that was such a nice time. I saw somebody tweet on Twitter about, they were like angry, and they were like, guys, the Mandalorian episode has just been out. There's already spoilers. You guys are making me mad. I was like, you don't know nothing. WandaVision, your ass better have woken up at 4 a.m. or you.
Telling you, done. I was telling my friend Shay how I tell everyone the story. He fucking ruined the Agatha reveal for me because he sent me a screenshot at like 8 a.m. that morning with, oh my God, did you love it? And I was
literally before people wake up. Me and Alistair, after like episode 2 or 3, it just started waking up at 4 a.m. and would watch it before he had to get ready to like go to work. And before we go, we are currently partnered with horrorpress.com. Ian, you have a couple articles over at horrorpress.com.
I do, yeah. You can check out, I did a Ghostface ranking, and I did a spoiler review of Scream 6. Coming up, I have a 25th anniversary piece on the Buffy Season 2 episode, I Only Have Eyes for You, and a piece about Once More with Feeling being one of the greatest musical episodes of TV.
Oh, so fun. I Only Have Eyes for You. Such a good horror episode, too. That's a spooky one. All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye.